I need to tell you about the moment I realized I was doing everything right, but still messing up my progress. I'd already lost a lot of weight, and people were like, "Raw, you've changed." And I'm there thinking I'm elite. Meanwhile, I'm stuck in the same loop. Look, if you keep restarting your fitness journey, your body journey, whatever you want to call it, this video is going to save you so much time. What I've done in 5 full years, and still going pretty strong by the way, I think you could do it in 4 or even 3 if you really push your limits. Alright, let me give you a super quick timeline so you know I'm not just chatting BS. I started at a whopping 95 kg in April 2021. I hit my lowest at about 61.2 kg about 2 years later, so around summer 2023. And then I started bulking up like an absolute maniac when I first started going to the gym. Around about when I was 17, I bulked up to a whopping 80 kilos. And right now, as we speak, February 2026, I'm about 70 kilos. And the gym actually fits my life now. But look, I'm not here to flex numbers. To cut it all short, I'm here to save you time and stress. This video has 3 main chapters, I guess. 1, the first lie I believed. 2, the second lie that felt like discipline. And finally, 3, the turning point that made it predictable. And at the end, I'm going to give you a 12-week plan that you can literally copy and see change instantly. Right, without further ado, let's dive straight into chapter 1. Now, this was the first lie I believed. If I'm tired, it's working. So if we run it back to about April 2021, when I first started in this very room, I was playing games with my mates and we were like, yo, we need to change. So I looked in the mirror and decided to do a 30-day ab challenge from that day on. And I guess that's the turning point for all this. Now, I was doing what most people do. Random cardio, random home workouts, random new year, new me type energy, if you get what I mean. And I genuinely believed one thing. If I'm drenched and out of energy, I'm genuinely progressing. I'd finish a session, I'd finish an ab session in this room or shadow boxing or something like that. And if I was sweating and I was absolutely finished, I'm like, yeah, this is how I change my life. And then I do the exact same thing the next day or next week, and nothing moved except for my mood. It took a while, but the first time I clocked, yo, wait, this is actually changing something for me. It wasn't actually in my body. Weirdly enough, it was in my face. I remember in 2021, looking in this mirror right here and seeing my face shape start to change. Far from where I wanted to be, but that was my first win. Now I started to become a bit hopeful, you know what I mean? And that is what got me hooked to this whole self-improvement fitness journey. It sounds really sick right now, but my brain had an opposite reaction. It did the worst thing that it could probably do. You know where it went? It said, do more. More cardio, less food, more days, a worse punishment if I skipped the gym session or ate too much food. I have long weeks where I'm locked in. But then a weekend happened. Of course, I'd eat like a normal teenager. And then one day, I'm trying to make up for it, like I've committed some robbery or something. And ironically enough, I did, to be fair. And what I was robbing was my own progress. This whole cycle, it feels disciplined. But I'll tell you one thing, it's not. It's complete stress. Oh, I have to do the perfect workout today. Otherwise, I'm just a loser. I have to eat perfectly, or I can sit there sulking and crying about what I didn't do and what I didn't eat and what the protein I didn't hit, It was just a bit mad. But the even madder bit was I kept getting results. Because if you starve yourself, of course you're going to see your weight go down. What I didn't realize for all those years was that I was building habits that would later ruin my progress. So lesson 1 is this. Tired isn't the target. If your plan is basically suffer more, you're no longer building a body or a physique. You know what you're doing? You're building yourself up for relapse. Now do me a favor. Come with me and let's teleport to the summer of 2023. You know what? Let's call this chapter 2. More days equals more gains. So I finally joined the gym at 16. And if you go to the start of my YouTube channel, you see me at the gym, doing my little workouts, thinking I'm that guy. It was GCSE summer, finally done my exams. I was buzzing to get into the gym. And I'd finally thought I'd figured it all out. Instead of doing home workouts, telling everyone, oh, I'm not actually into the gym, it felt wrong. But now I was in the gym, I could do the weights, I could do everything. But then progress actually starts happening. And you're like, hold on, isn't that what you wanted? Progress. But you do the most dangerous thing at the same time. You start thinking you're some next genius. And if you don't, fair play. Me, I thought I had it all figured out. I made videos on the most scientifically optimal workout routine and shit like that. Look, this is where I went full crazy mode. 6 days a week, sometimes 7. Because my friends would be like, come gym. And then I go, even though my body was begging for rest. I mean, I gotta say, it's the best thing ever. But just make sure you put yourself first in all of it. If you have to realign your days, do so. But just don't go 7 days like I did. And that led me to fall into the second lie. It was trying to optimize everything. I started what I like to call split hopping. PPL, then something else online, then I don't know, upper, lower, then flipping arms and then legs, whatever it is. Every few months I kept swapping my split out. It felt smart, it felt like I was leveling up. I mean, it works, but you don't have to do it every few weeks or every few months. Stick with something for a bit. That's how you see real gains. Every day I'm just doing the same weight. Do you know what I mean? Lesson 2, being busy isn't the same as progressing. If you keep changing your plan, you're not optimizing for anything. We're avoiding the hard part. And the hard part is doing the long, hard pause. And the hard part is repeating that same monotonous journey. And that's how you see progress. Sure, you can switch it up every once in a while, but don't be switching up all the time. You're not trying to optimize all the time. You're just trying to optimize for your own consistency here. Let's move on to chapter 3 now. The low point. And there's one specific moment I'm talking about. I remember thinking, yeah, I'm training lots, I'm trying hard. Why do I still feel like something's wrong? And then it hit me. And it's gonna sound mad. I wasn't losing because I was lazy. I was losing because I was doing everything wrong. My whole system was built on extremes. So I'd set the bar way too high. You know, for a good day, I'd have to do a madness. So every time normal life shit happened, you know, stress, social plans, gym, studies, anything of that nature, my plan would collapse. And when it collapsed, my only response was to go extreme again. And that loop keeps people stuck for years, where you're either on like a mad geezer or you're off it and you're just sitting there slumped. So I made one simple and slight decision. I stopped trying to build the perfect week. And listen, it's hard to do that. Your mindset is already coded to make you want to be perfect. But you just need to realize perfection is not human. So I built a week that I could do when I'm not even feeling it. Chapter 4 now. This is now what I call the balance time. I dropped my workouts to 5 days a week while still enjoying it and still being able to go with my friends when I want to. Training wise, I went from PPL or whatever I was doing, you know, 16 different flipping splits, to simply now upper lower, rest, upper lower, arms. Less volume, higher intensity, fewer sets. Look, if I went for a bulk tomorrow, I'd be doing a whole different workout as well. So whatever works, just find your cadence, your rhythm. Food stayed simple as well, just high protein, make sure it's clean. I stopped living in these extremes. No more go crazy, bum out, and then come back. We've reached that point where you can start to understand one rule. Start building a system that makes it automatic. When you're young, you think discipline means suffering, but you're in for a shock, my friend, if you haven't got that out your head yet. Real discipline is boring. That's the difference between a transformation and a little phase. If you want the lessons without doing the same dumb shit I did, here it is. 1. Don't chase tired. Chase progression. Don't think that you sweating is a metric. Your weight, the reps, your lifts, those are the real things you can measure to see if you're actually making progress. 2, stop split hopping. Pick one structure and actually run it long enough to get strong, to get the physique you want. 3, recovery is training. That's what I want you to say in your head. If you're always drained and always sore, that doesn't make you a disciplined guy. It means you're overtrained and under-recovered. 4, one goal per phase. If you're cutting, cut. If you're bulking, bulk. Mixing goals is stalling you and then making you feel confused. 5, don't build your identity on extremes. Because the moment you can't be extreme, you know, go 7 times a week, you fail. And you have to restart the whole cycle again. I'm not here to feed you dopamine, but just the simple and hard truth. So remember, boring wins every single time. Now that 12-week plan I promised you at the start of this video, if you want something simple that you can run and do it easily and see change, here it is. Right, so first pick 3 to 5 days in the week that you're going to train. Find a split you can repeat as well. Just search it online, whatever you find, whatever works for you. Now I like to do 2 sets per movement for about 6 to 10 reps. And that's because I'm on a cut, so I want to keep it low volume, high intensity. The next part is tracking your gym progress. So for me, that involves opening my notes app and just tracking what I'm doing, weights, reps, and just making sure that I'm increasing or at least maintaining every week. But to make it simple for those of you who are just starting out or just want some control, pick about 6 to 8 to 10 exercises even, you know, bench, squat, the usual stuff that you always do every week, and track them and see where you're going with them, because those ones are going to be the ones we can actually build some sort of evidence. Now to the diet side of things, keep your meals simple and your protein high. It's literally as simple as that. And please make sure they taste good. Trust me, take all the time you need to plan these out, because you don't want to come home after a long day and have to eat some disgusting sludge. You just don't stick to it. I promise you. In terms of goals, pick one per phase. So a phase is about 8 to 12 weeks. Pick either a bulk or pick a cut. Make sure it's specific, but make sure it's in those 8 to 12 weeks, because you need to time yourself. Have at least 2 or 3 metrics to measure if it's going your way. Like for me, I do a mirror picture and measure myself weight wise. Look, my people, I didn't win because I found some secret. I won because I stopped restarting and let the basics of weight loss and self-improvement stick. If you copy anything from me and learn anything from this video, copy the boring basics, the shit that actually gets you from A to B without all this glamorization that social media likes to put on it. And then give yourself a good time frame for it to actually work. It's doing you a favor to extend your timeline. Give yourself that ability to do it without no pressure, and you make it further than you could have done. Now, go and do it for yourself, whatever your goal for yourself is. I believe in you. Stay safe, stay strong, stay hungry, and I'll see you next week. Love and guidance.